Circle Youth, it's Bailey and John here. We are kicking off a brand new series called Who is Jesus? As we head into the Easter season right at the beginning of April. So to kick things off, we're going to be asking you guys a question. Who is Jesus to you? You're going to get a chance to talk about that in your groups in a minute, but let me just make something clear. We don't want you to tell us what you think that we want to hear. Don't tell us what you think we want to hear. But we genuinely want to hear from you about who Jesus is to you.
Yeah, the reason we want to know who Jesus is to you is because, well, we sometimes have different ideas and assumptions about who Jesus is. Now, maybe our assumptions are because of what we were taught or because of your experience with people that say they are Christian. Or maybe you have assumptions because of your experience with the church. Or maybe you've only heard the name Jesus, but you've never really thought about, well, who he is. Our perception of Jesus can change sometimes based on our experiences with religion and also with people. You know, when I was younger, I just imagined Jesus being this little fairy guy who would come and sit on your shoulder and be like, nope, don't do that, bad idea. My image of him was also this white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy with a chiseled jawline from Texas or something. I know that seems weird. At least that's what my children's picture Bible used to show me when I was younger.
Yeah, for me, I grew up going to church and learning about Jesus from a picture Bible too. So my idea of Jesus was that he was this awesome guy who was really nice to people. He did a bunch of miracles and stuff, and then he died, and now he's invisible and he's always with us. Each of us are going to have a totally different idea of who Jesus is based on how we grew up, things that we've heard over the years, and our personal experiences with church in general. And that's totally okay.
For sure. Sometimes we can feel like what we have to say might sound weird, but look, I can almost guarantee that there are others in your groups that are probably thinking the same thing. You're amongst friends here, so go ahead, discuss in your group. Who is Jesus to you? And we'll be right back. Remember, you're in a safe space, so feel free to share, and we'll be right back.
Throughout this series, we are going to talk a lot about Jesus, and it's not going to be in the same Sunday school way that you might be used to. But we're going to talk about real questions and issues surrounding this person, Jesus.
Exactly, Bailey. I mean, we want to have these conversations, not because we're not trying to convince you of something, but it's because we want you to consider something. We really want you to have a faith of your own. Not my faith, not Bailey's faith, not even your parents' faith. We want you to develop a faith of your own. And that starts by asking and discussing tough questions.
Yeah, totally. And some of these tough questions could be, who was Jesus? What did he do that's such a big deal? Why do people care about someone who lived 2,000 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I really like that question. Why do people care about this person that lived 2,000 years ago? There are lots of questions we can ask about the person of Jesus. And over the next 4 weeks, we're going to unpack some of it. Not all of it, because we'd be here for a long time. But I love those questions, Bailey, because whether or not you're a Christian, you have to admit that Jesus is a pretty big deal. And I love how the guys at Alpha emphasize that. Take a look at this.
Okay. So if you consider everyone who's ever lived, Jesus Christ is arguably the most famous. Jesus is so famous that his name is used as a swear word. We don't use anyone else's name as a swear word.
Benedict Cumberbatch!
Taylor Swift!
Justin Bieber, that's hot.
Pikachu!
Think about this with me for a minute. Jesus' life literally divides history. Our calendars are based on his life. History is divided into two main eras. Until recently, we use the terms BC and AD. BC stands for before Christ, and AD is Latin for Anno Domini, which means the year of our Lord. His influence is hard to miss. More songs have been sung to, more paintings have been painted of, and more books have been written about Jesus than anyone else. Time magazine named him the most significant person in history.
So, as you can see, Jesus is a pretty big deal, even for people that don't necessarily believe in him. And that's why we want to talk about him.
Yeah, exactly, Bailey. You know, for us as Christians, Jesus is the foundation and he's the center of everything that we believe. It all hinges on him. Now, maybe your interaction with Jesus is simply using it as an exclamation or swear word like the guys at Alpha said. But we'd like to ask you one more question this week. Where have some of your ideas about Jesus come from?
Yeah. Have they come from people that you hang out with, from social media, from your experience with church, or maybe from people that you know that say they're Christian or people that aren't Christian? That's a pretty big question. So go ahead, discuss it in your group for a little bit, and we'll be back once you come back.
Now, maybe you didn't really have an answer for that tonight, but you can maybe even think about that as you go into the rest of your week. I'll be honest, it takes me time to sometimes process a question. And at times, I like to think about it over a few days. Now, maybe that's you. So think about it during your week. We'd also love to hear what questions you have when it comes to Jesus. So share with your group, talk about it with your group. And your leaders will write some of them down. And who knows, maybe we might answer some of them over the next few weeks. So have a great rest of your time at Youth, guys. And we'll see you guys back here next week as we continue part 2 of Who is Jesus?